Inside the courtroom, she watched on the projector as backup footage played. The front steps, captured by the camera before it broke. The camera, though destroyed, held secrets the HOA never intended to share. From her lawyer's phone, the images rotated. Mrs. Wilmerton in her long, tailored coat, stepping up the porch at 2:13 a.m. Her silhouette, deliberate, reached for the camera. She paused, stared around, and then ripped it down, tearing wires visibly. Her face was only half-lit, but the motion was unmistakable. This, her lawyer said, was the moment. That 17-second clip would break the dam. It all started when she first moved here. Oak Glen Hollow felt perfect. Tree-lined streets, people walking dogs at sunset, the faint hum of cicadas. Her son's school was good. The neighbor across the street brought over the best homemade sambusas. Yet behind the trimmed hedges, control simmered. Rules are rules, Mrs. Wilmerton had told her once, stroking a peony bush. In a neatly pressed dress, she looked like a garden angel. But there was a steel in her voice, sharp, consuming. Months later, after the porch attack, police had come. They asked questions. Have you installed cameras? Has anyone else been on the property without consent? She told them everything, reluctant but resolute. Detectives dusted the porch for fingerprints, collected broken wires, and asked neighbors if they saw or heard anything. Most shook their heads. After a while, the police stopped coming, and the broken door sat patched but not repaired. Then she discovered the camera's SD card, dislodged and intact in its casing. She handed it to her attorney, who spun the exhibits into motion. The case unfolded like a war for justice. The HOA board sued her first, for unauthorized modification. The lien grew, and she considered selling her condo just to escape the mounting pressure. But the stolen security, the broken door, something shifted in her. She wouldn't be bullied anymore. She countersued the board for trespass and vandalism. She claimed emotional distress. For every $1 of fine they levied, she tallied $10 of her peace torn away. She fought through mediation, through pretrial hearings, through motions. She watched the board's lawyers scoff at her stress, at her son's fear, when the front door cracked under force. One day, discovery arrived, security footage from the neighborhood patrol officer's car, surveillance tapes from the HOA's vendor-installed camera across the street, showing Mrs. Wilmerton's car in the driveway at 2:05 a.m., steering out at 2:20. Her lawyer pounded the podium. That was proof she'd been plotting it. The board tried to object. Chain of custody, hearsay, speculation. The judge raised an eyebrow and said, "Interesting." The trial began on a sweltering October morning. She sat at the plaintiff's table, calm but buzzing inside, as though charged with electricity. On the other side, Mrs. Wilmerton sat stiff-backed, arms crossed, her arrogance a curtain across her demeanor. A roomful of neighbors watched, shocked or enthralled or looking for gossip. First, the HOA lawyer waxed on about the sanctity of rules, that every homeowner agreed to architectural guidelines, and that letting one person break them would destroy harmony. Then came her witness, an expert in trespass for HOA cases. He spoke of residents' rights to privacy and of limitations on common governance. Finally, the SD card played on the screen. The judge paused it at the frame where Mrs. Wilmerton's face was visible, the wire in limp fingers. Then continued to show her tossing it and turning off the porch light. She sat in her seat, flushed. Her lawyer summarized, "Your Honor, this is vandalism. This is trespass. She uprooted my client's property, her eyes, her ears, without consent, and she prosecuted her afterward." Mrs. Wilmerton's lawyer protested. So what? She defied architectural rules. The board only removed an illegal fixture. Her lawyer countered. Illegal? The CC and RS don't ban cameras. She asked. They denied. She appealed. They denied again. And then they broke in. Silence. The jury deliberated. When the foreman gave the verdict, it crackled in the air. Trespass and vandalism ruled in favor of the homeowner. The HOA board was held liable. They were ordered to pay damages, not only for the camera and its emotional breakdown, but punitive damages for abusing authority. As for the lien, the judge struck it down as improper for punishing protected expression and safety. Crowd in the courtroom cheered, hush falling heavy afterward. Outside, she felt like waking from a nightmare. The wind tugged at her hair as she hugged her lawyer. She thought of her son running home now, knowing the front door was safe again, not just secure, but respected. She had proof restored, her story acknowledged. Across the steps stood Mrs. Wilmerton, flanked by her lawyer, her face tight. She lifted a hand and nodded curtly. No apologies said. But maybe, in that acknowledgement, she recognized how far she had fallen from being a gardener of order. The HOA board would be replaced at the next election. Some board members resigned. The HOA hired a management consultant to rewrite policies, add clear rules about cameras, and introduce transparent compliance procedures. Other homeowners, empowered by her fight, brought forward safety concerns they'd never voiced before. Weeks later, she reinstalled the camera, not in defiance, but with pride. She had secured board-approved placement, a small black box, discreet, pointing modestly toward the porch without infringing on neighbors. Next to it hung a small sign, "Recording for safety." She dressed the entry with flowering vines and refurbished door. Her son came home one afternoon. "Mom, your camera looks cooler," he said. She ruffled his hair and smiled. The night was still, but no longer trembling. The little lens watched, quiet and respectful. The broken door was repaired, the stitches in wood and paint glowed in moonlight. Harmony returned not